Hey guys, this is Turek, and in this video, I'll be reviewing chapter 1138 of One Piece. Now, this one, I definitely know I'm going to have to do some extra researching. I'm trying to go back through some stuff, but I think Oda is definitely chipping in some kind of that come from. He's trying to add in some mythological stuff, which right away shows some of it will become apparent in that because the nation of Elbath in One Piece is based on Middle-aged Viking society, a Scandinavian society. He's including Ragnarok into this, and this has been kind of something I guess we kind of knew all along. And yeah, he goes over some stuff at the end there, and there's a few pieces I can put together, and I want to review even more of the stuff at a later time to talk about it. I know other people already got on top of this. I'm actually recording this on Friday, and I thought for a long time here we've had the chapters released on Friday, but now we had it come out yesterday, and I saw Teching and some other people already get theirs out. So, but I was working on editing a video for Sonic. So in the last chapter, we got a lot of lore through Rhodes, and he was telling us to Nami, Zoro, and Luffy as they were exploring the castle together. We learned a lot of stuff about King Harold, and the most particular one part of that was interesting to me, interesting. Well, it's fine, interesting to all us is that there is a definite blood relationship with the tribes like Oars and the giants, the human giants, as I'm going to call them, because the Oars group have the look of what we would think of like orcs or trolls or other things like that we see in other mythologies or fantasy stuff. We saw how like the main Oars, the corpse that Moria had acquired was a kind of cranberry reddish color, and then Oars the third, who was with Whitebeard, had a green color, and they had the very big jaws and the teeth coming out, the very orcish kind of thing as we think of them, and then the giants are humans in all intent and purposes or whatever, except they're 10 times bigger than us. But also that was important to show that because of the relationship with Oars, the Oars have the horns. Hold on, bring this up a little. The Oars had the horns, which we then saw that we saw this already with Kaido and Yamato, his daughter, and how they grew horns out. And I talked before about how maybe and the size being of Kaido, Whitebeard, and Big Mom and Kuma being so huge, where they had. Well, we know Kaido now had must have directly been descended from them because of the horns, and the Kaido, Big Mom, and Kuma are all really huge themselves. But we know Kuma is part of a tribe called the Buccaneers, but that still doesn't really mean much to me. If you study like ancient groups of peoples, they could be part of the same kind of cultural thing and stuff, but they'll be in their own those groups and their own tribes, or you could also look at the Greeks and their city states where they all understand they have a cultural center being similar, but they all had their own what do you call it? Well, they pleasure themselves. Their I can't think of that word now. Allegiance to their own tribe or city state, and the Buccaneers, I'm gonna suspect at this point, could be something like that, where they had their own tribe. Two that are also very large, like what I'm just saying is maybe the fact that they're called Buccaneers is just like maybe like that. Maybe they're just were a tribe of people that knew they were part human and part related to giants, and or like only like beings like the Oars, but they set up their own tribe, but we got like Kaido or Big Mom and others that were like not inside that community. But anyways, yes, we saw that a lot of the giants The Giants understood that they were related to them. They had a lot of history stuff on that here. Where is that? Did they have that mural? No, he just talked about it, right? Like, where was that? Because he showed. Wait a minute. I feel like there's a page missing. Oh, no, there's just that little panel. That's right. That's right, because the mural, I thought there was a mural here, but it's just a little flashback where it showed a silhouette of Ors and a Ors member, probably, and a. But Rhodes had showed there was a portrait left of Harold, Loki, and Herodin's dad, and he had scars around his forehead because he had horns, but he took them off because he felt they were a semblance of their past, of the their warlike past of causing mayhem and harm to the world, and he wanted to go forward and pursue a peace and positive relations with other nations around. And we had learned too there are other giants nations elsewhere, and I thought that was interesting. Come on, this chair's making so much noise. I don't know what's going on with it. And so we got a lot of stuff on that. That was very interesting. And the last bit of it was that let's see. Well, yeah, they're looking for the key. They saw that the castle, the royal castle, has been not been abandoned since Harold was killed, and because they won't accept Herodin as the new prince, the new king, and because Loki's a criminal, a patricide criminal, there's no king there. I discussed it like what I think is going on there, but the last thing was just that we saw that the God's Knight Gunko, and we finally revealed Shank's twin, Shamrock. They were trying to force Loki to join them, which I was discussed at length too. I thought was really dumb in the way they're trying to pursue this because they want a new member for some reason. Well, not some reason. They want to keep the numbers the same, I guess. And I forget if there's supposed to be like 9 or so of them, but because Garling is now been promoted, they need a new member. They want a new member or need a new member to keep the ranks the same. And Loki refused to do that, and then so now they're gonna go do something else to it looks like they're trying. This is an attempt, like a coup attempt of sorts. What would you call that? To force the Elbath to be part of the world government. This reminds me of stuff. If you ever studied the last 120 years of some world history, you see some stuff where some members of the Western countries have gone to great lengths to bring other countries in like Central America or South America or sometimes the Middle East into our sphere of influence, into the West. They keep them away from like probably the influence of the Soviets and the Chinese of the past, like that. There's something like that going on here, where it looks like they want Elbath to be brought under tow. Is that the right term? Under their control finally. The same thing, and I said briefly before too, like, or I say briefly now, they wanted the same thing with Wano, and because they were in Wano, that was something interesting. In Wano, they were able to get agents in there, and they were trying to negotiate with Orochi. Actually, I gotta go back because that was interesting because they wanted to. Orochi was trying to like. He really thought he had a big pair because he was backed by Kaido, and he tried to say, no, if you guys want to do anything with us, I want Vegapunk here. He really thought he could get away with that stuff, and I forget those negotiations kind of broke down, but they were able to get agents there, but they haven't been able to get enough Cypher Pole 9, but they haven't been able to get anyone into Wano, not Wano, now into Elbath to get a intel here so that they could figure out. And what I'm trying to get at there is they knew that there was that Momonosuke, if he ascended back to his position as the leader of the of Wano, that he had planned initially he changed his mind later, but they heard the intel that he planned on bringing down the walls, and they were like that was making it because of their limited technology that the world government has, setting aside Vegapunk, that they couldn't get all those ships to to converge and take over Wano by force. So, but this case, they're because they know the giants are these really feared warriors, as we talked about. They want to instead of sending the God's Knights here to enforce, to secretly, covertly go in there. And they did try to send Cypherpole agents, but we learned that they had been all apprehended one way or the other through those uh, like black ravens. And actually, I think I brought this up before, but I'm still confused on whether those ravens are merely acting on their own to keep outsiders, because we know that to some extent we piece together that road, the navigator of working around the Haruden, he had been apprehending some of them as they tried to come close to Wano. But I have a feeling that was not always the case. We just saw that there were a lot of those people who are wandering around where Loki is must be other agents too that never could make it to the island safely and have never been able to also get to the the Sun World, and then provide intel that the Gorosei and the God's Knights want to figure out the best way to take control of Elbath. I keep getting these two mixed up because of the goals the world government has with the two. So anyways, that's all that. Also, by the way, I totally missed that I went back. I was going back and rewatching some of Egghead, and I totally missed or forgot from reading these last few chapters that it was Haruden's crew that went there with Saul to Ohara to get the books out of there that were still salvageable from the Buster Call 22 years ago. You can see Road there, but I don't think. But I remember I looked back and I saw they had Gerd and Goldberg were there with Haruden, and they were bringing out the books. I'm trying to think now. I have to go back and look at my reaction to that episode. I know I would have remembered Haruden because Gerd and Goldberg, at that time when that episode came out last year, I had forgotten about them being introduced in those cover stories during probably in the manga during probably the would that have been the around the Whole Cake Island, the Totland arc, so somewhere around there. And but now that I went back after reading the LF and going back to Egghead, I saw that was Gerd and Goldberg also there. So totally missed that. I gotta remember to keep going back to certain things like that after seeing seeing these characters and seeing how Oda's been cleverly weaving them in. Like he had that stuff. What did he do that before too? We had the Doflamingo Law flashback where we saw Drake as a young man, and he was with his father who was an officer, and he was the one who had the fruit that Law eventually got, the op fruit and stuff. Anyways, briefly with the cover story, we do see that it's who's there. Like we already figured that out. I'm surprised he just did it like that. All we see is that who's who is in this hideout that Yamato has infiltrated. He's living it up here. Like I said, he's carved out a little area for himself and somewhere in the hinterlands of Wano. He's got a lot of followers there that all look like they're gifters that some of them are kind of like gifters that have other feline zone powers, and as well as some other people. And he's just sitting there in this little sandbag type thing, holding a katana and drinking, using that what's that one cup they have that has the they drink sake out of. I don't know what it's called, and he's got a woman there who's entertaining, playing music, and another waitress of sorts bringing other drinks there. So he's living it up there. So let's get into the chapter. So we get into here, and Loki, he just got pummeled by Dunko's attack, and they're getting ready to leave and find out they want to use him somehow to help them subdue Elbath. They probably were gonna say once he joined the God's Knights, you're also the prince here, even though you know he's not really accepted. They probably wanted him to like use his powers to subdue the people, and he'd be forced Elbath into their sphere of influence against the world governments. And so Loki's comments as the two of them are walking away from you look a lot like Red Hair Shanks, but you're not him, aren't you? And Gunko is typical with these kind of characters. She's like, you don't need to know anything. Shut your mouth. You're not worth us telling you anything and stuff like that. And Uh, 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 so Loki goes on by saying, yes, fine, but I find it funny that there's one person who's a pirate and one who's the celestial dragon, and yet they have the same face. And he points this out because like pirates typically are at odds with the world government. Uh, but Shamrock, excuse me, says it's obvious, isn't it? That pirate is my brother, my younger brother that I was separated from. Uh, and it says once he did come and return to Holy Land, meaning the Marijwa and the area up there, but he goes on to say, oh, but in the end he didn't want to stay with up there, and he seemed to have taken a liking to being down here among you peasants, and the term here is filthy world. You have that idea. So the God's Knights here are. It's funny though, they're not wearing those globes like the other ones, the sloth, the lazy other members. They always go on with they have to wear that oxygen because they don't want to breathe our air. These guys don't care that way, but you can see they still have the same viewpoints where they're like, well, this world's a horrible place, and we are part of the gods, and we should never be forced to live down here. And there's also this idea here where like it's we have to cleanse it at some point. You get that mentality here that we've seen in other stuff with media too, where the normal world is not worth being part of, and sometimes they think, oh, we should just get rid of it. Kind of like oh no, it's a good example of that. If some people have ever watched that movie, I think it's just called Ants, and it's a CGI film in the late '90s, and with oh, what's that guy's name? Oh, I can't think of his name now. The one who did that, but Gene Hackman is in there as the main villain, and he's the leader of the military branch of this ant colony, and he wants to get rid of all the workers. He sees them as kind of like filth and stuff, and he wants to purge them all. And he's making a plan to have them. He's tricking the workers into mining into an area where they're connected to a pond or something like that, and they'll just flood the colony because they're underground. And he's got that same mentality. Oh, we up of the royal family and us military officers, we're in the army in general, we're the ones worth a damn, and nothing else is. It's very similar. Woody Allen. Woody Allen's the one who plays the hero in that one, and it's very quirky. It's a very good movie, but yeah, there's this mentality is there too that we've seen across many types of media, and Ants is a good one to watch to get a sense of that too. If you were someone who want to see something similar to One Piece, and you want to see that kind of characterization that of these different levels like that. Um, so anyways, Loki goes on, uh, and Loki he's going on. He's like, oh, he returned, huh? Anyway, but he's like, he's like, that doesn't really matter. Now I just know my anger toward this lineage will. Now I know I have to point my anger towards the lineage, meaning he wants to kill Shanks because he got captured by him, and now he wants to take out Shamrock for what he just did to his friends. Oh, Gunko probably did. I guess it was Gunko that did that. I put up those images. I drew my own thing about that, and I put it in the last review. But I guess it was Gunko things. Can we see? Shanks has a Shamrock. Excuse me, has a different power here. And at this point, there's one thing here. There's Loki should just shut his mouth. He wants to talk like he's better than the other Elbath citizens and wants to destroy the world. But he pulls the typical angry and like someone leaves like, oh, I'll get my revenge thing. He says that to Shamrock and Gunga. When I break free, I'm gonna remember. Like I said before, I remember that I saw what you did to my friends, and I will remember that what you did to them, and I will bring all the anger down upon you type talk. And but this gets under Shamrock's skin, and he's like, "Wait, you're trying to threaten me?" And Gunko's like, "Well, sure, don't let that bother you." And he's like, "Well, oh, whatever. I don't have to dirty my hands on this filth." So he pulls out his sword, and he calls forth something. A sword starts transforming, and he calls forth it into a Cerberus, which is it's funny because we had this before, but yes, we see a sword transform first of all, and a three-headed dog pulls out of it or comes out of it, and they're all like they almost look like German shepherds look, and they got spiked collars on. And so to stop briefly, yes, during Thriller Bark, we saw that uh, Moria had and Hogback had created a amalgamation of Cerberus. They took a dog's body and added two more heads to it and turned it into a Cerberus being. With the middle head, though, what is it? The middle head, but one of the heads was actually a fox and not another dog. And there was just a serious but also comedic moment where the Cerberus thing is guarding some kind of trench or something near Hogback's area, I think. And it was, and then Nami and Usopp had to get away from that thing. Oh, Chopper was there too. That's right, because Chopper was the one who recognized that one was a fox because he could understand other animals. And he's like, wait, that one's not actually a dog. And it was a little bit funny because like he was like the fox was like upset by that he's not being like maybe he's not as good as the dogs or something. So, anyways, this thing, it looks like here. I think what we have here is possibly the same or similar to what we saw that Spondum has. He had a sword that was it a sword or a gun? Wait, no. The gun's the no, I'm thinking of those other people. We saw the Mr. Oh, what's her name from Brokeworks? Anyways, what this looks like at first glance is to be a sword that has a devil fruit power. We saw this twice before. Like I said, Spondum, I think it's a sword he had, and it turns into an elephant. And then, what's her name? She's one of the Baroque agents. She's the one that she was a zone herself. She can turn into a mole. But they had, her and Mr. Four have a gun that ain't a fruit where it turns into a zone. It's a like a dachshund or something like that. And but the way we see this illustration, it looks more likely that Shamrock here is summoning this thing. It's possible it still could be a fruit thing because this is a mythical creature after all, but we've seen now we have multiple mythical beings here. We got we can start with creature like things. We got the Kaido as a dragon and what's his name? The Phoenix. I can't think of his name. I'm blanking on what's his name? The first commander from Whitebeard, Marco. And then thirdly, off the top of my head, is what's her name from Blackbeard? She can turn into a nine-tailed fox. So right there, we got a phoenix. Let's see, Egyptian mythology. We got an Asian dragon, the Asian dragon style. We got a nine-tailed fox. So another thing from Asia or China or Japan. Now we got back to a Greek mythology creature. So that makes me wonder too. I'm wondering there's stuff coming later with some other references to Ragnarok, like we mentioned. But I'm wondering if Loki in here, because in the mythology he's a shapeshifter, if the devil fruit he stole from his father is also something that may make him become a mythical zone. And I was thinking about Jormungandr for a while, who's the world servant, who in the mythologies is Loki's child. But there's also Fenrir. I think I'm saying it right, who is a wolf that's also Loki's child, and both of them are part of the important in Ragnarok, and I'll get to that. We'll get to that at the end because that's important. But the Cerberus pops out, but it the one head we can see has a sword thing pop out of it, and it seems to be part of its transformation. It doesn't harm it. Actually, all of them get it right, and Loki's like, what the hell is that? So Loki looks like, again, his eyes are bandaged, but I'm wondering if he has he's using his hockey to see. I feel like this is similar to Daredevil, the comic book hero. He's blinded when he's a child, but his other senses are so strong through that accident and through training that he can still essentially see, or close enough that he's you can't catch him off guard and such. But so Loki's like, yeah, what the hell is that thing? What's up with that? So I'm thinking this is different than a. This gotta be more than just a zone, I think, because all the heads start spewing out a sword, and it's hard to tell from here if this like. I doubt that's like discomforting to them, um, and and so he has that thing. So also, I got to point out this thing. It looks like it's huge. I can't quite get the scale of right here. Let's see if we go further. Yeah, it looks like it could be as big as some of those other giant animals we saw. So with those swords spewing from their mouth, they probably can cause great harm to a giant. And so he has it summed up. Oh yeah, you can see that because it's got this little shadowy. You see Shamrock holding his sword up, and there's this shadowy cloud wafting off of it, and it's going toward like it's almost like a leash controlling the Cerberus. And while he's doing that, we Gunko starts turning her bandage arrows into something to travel on. And she's like, "Okay, Commander, we should get going now. We must hide our presence." And how did you do that? Wait. Oh yeah. So yes. So Shank. We go back to Shamrock, and he sets up this beast to attack Shanks. I'm sorry, Loki now, and so we see that what see Gunko has created what looks kind of like a bird. Yeah, it's a bird that's built out of the bandages. It doesn't have like a head, but you can tell like it's got wings and a tail area, tail feathers type look. And he jumps on, and she's already on, and they start flying off. And Shamrock says to Loki and Zali, "Well, if you manage to survive this, you can come and kill me anytime. I'll fight you anywhere, and like basically, I'll always be ready for you." Uh, so wait, what happens there? So yeah, we finished the scene with Loki where I think the heads have all kind of like split. Yeah, that's right. And they split apart from the body. But did the body return? How did he do that? Okay there. When you go back, they pop off. Uh okay, I see. I had to reread it. So the heads pop off, and then Shamrock had the rest of it go back to his sword. The body returns to his sword, and the heads are flying in the air like a little. It looks like a unison of jets flying together, or some kind of military vehicles where they're going together and in unison, and they all line up, circle around, and fly into Loki. And the last thing we see with Loki is, oh crap! If that thing gets me, I'm done. And of course, he doesn't see this. We see it hit him, so the fate of him here is kind of left up in the air. But I'll be surprised if Oda gets rid of Loki this easily. In a way, I feel like this is just taking him out of the story for now. Even if they free him, Luffy and the others free him, like he's not going to be in a condition to help fight whatever battle we know is certainly going to come, probably against some of these gods' knights. So Shamrock and Gunko are flying up in the air, and they talked before about changing tactics, and Shamrock's talking to her again about this, and like, now that we don't have Loki, well, it'll be difficult to try and take control of these warriors. So instead, let's get one of those children, the children of theirs, and try to take I guess he's saying we're going to take hostages in order to coerce the warriors. Yeah, so you can see here though he definitely was hoping that Loki could somehow help them in controlling Elbath, but I think that was a fool's plan from the start because no one wants to listen to Loki. Again, only if Loki's power is as impressive as we heard tales of, and again, we still don't know what it really is. Could have that plan could have even worked, in my opinion. And so Shamrock ends by saying, "We need to bring someone else here to help us." And Gunko's like, "Okay, who should I call?" So now we're gonna get a third one. He knows they need someone else's help to. One of the other God Knights are going to be coming soon to help in this plan to subdue Elbath. So now we switch to the castle, and we see. Wait, what's the name of the castle? Don't they have a name for it? The names in these underworld. Hold on. That's right. The names in these translations. Oh, it is Aurust Castle. Aurust. So we're back with the giants. Luffy and the others have found those two giants that were knocked unconscious. Well, one of them might be dead. No, that one's still alive. Okay, they're both there. No, was there three? Wait. I think no. Maybe there's just two. Do they show them here? Let me go back a sec. Oh no, there was just two, right? And so they've told Luffy what they saw, and they're under the impression that that was actually Shanks that returned, because they all know him because he helped capture Loki. And Luffy here, of course, is extremely infuriated Shanks would do this. And the other guy, the older one, he's like, but it's true. I'm sure he looked just like Shanks. I've seen him many times because he's visited here often. So Luffy's like, but Shanks wouldn't do stuff like that. What if it's a guy that looks like him? I'm actually proud of that part from Luffy. I was thinking it would take someone else to like later on, like, Luffy, maybe there's some kind of transformed person. Maybe it's a doppelganger somehow, a disguise, anything. I'm surprised Luffy jumped to that conclusion right away, like that he would realize, oh, it's obviously there's something else weird going on. Because they usually have it where like he just says, oh, it can't be him, but he never like the hero character would never like try to piece together an alternative. They just like, it's not that person. But then the other guy's like, yeah, that was weird. Why would he be in the castle here if he came back? Why would he just come in here like that? And Zoro's is like, well, he's come here before the LF. It wouldn't be strange if he was still around. And then Luffy reiterates, like, yeah, if you're really telling the truth, there's no way it's Shanks. It has to be someone else. He would never do that. All this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna move on to that bit. Nami just says, you have such confidence for him, of his character, don't you? And she brings up, I think she's kind of hinting at, like, you really didn't know him that long, so you don't know anything about his motivations. I understand he helped you become a pirate, etc. And then Luffy gets angry at her, and he's like, of course I would. How would you like if someone talked bad about Bellamere? Actually, he says her name wrong, and she has to correct him. He always get names wrong. And he's like thinking a point, like, yeah, this Shanks is as important to me as Bellamere is to you, so of course I'd be mad. Someone badmouths him. So someone pieces together, is that Luffy? No, it's probably, I think it's the other giant again. So they look exactly alike. So they're going along, they're starting to piece together like something that might be someone else. They say, oh, so if they look someone else looks exactly like Shanks, maybe he has a brother. And and then Luffy's like, well, unfortunately I never asked for oh, that guy's coming. Oh, I missed this part. Holy shit. Is that really gonna be Shiki? So anyway, Luffy here says, I never asked about his family. It seems like he was raised on a pirate ship. And so he means Roger's ship. The translation is a little weird. He says his family was like Roger and Rayleigh and the other Roger pirates, except for Buggy. And like, no, actually, Luffy, no, they were quite close. He doesn't realize that they were quite close together as a kid. Kids, Shanks and Buggy. But as this is happening, this part here, because I went too fast in this bit, that mysterious person who is almost certainly Colin's dad is starting to walk up toward the castle. He's going along. He's not on the stair part. He's walking up the ground just to the right, and we get a little look of him again. We can see it closer. He's wearing a big hat like that one I got back there to keep the sun off. He's got really long hair, and he's got a cloak that's striped. And so we're gonna get him soon. Well, that's gonna be it for that part of this. Yeah, so that's it for that part. So of this. So so at least something. So definitely now we're gonna have some point where everyone's gonna intercept together. But first, it looks like yes, this mysterious person, which is at the very least, I'm guessing it's supposed to be someone. I'm thinking it's gonna be someone from Roger's ship who's still alive. Roger's crew. I'm hoping it's that. No, I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that could be from Whitebeard's ship, because if Shiki, no, if it's Shiki like attacking thing, and he was part of Rox's crew, then went off and did his own thing, just like Whitebeard and Big Mom and everyone else did. So that'll be interesting. And so now we switch to Ripley and Frankie are together because Frankie wanted to look around, right? He was going to go off. He didn't join the party, did he? He was there. He got his outfit. Yeah, I think he wanted to. I think he wanted. Yeah, he was going to look around because this was the tree's made of Adam, which is the wood he used to make uh the Sunny, and he had got it off a black market. And they mentioned in one of the previous chapters how there's other Adam trees in the world, but this one's like the biggest and oldest. Um, uh, and anyways, yeah, they're like, uh, who's laughing there? I think it's Frankie. So someone here said one of the two is like, oh, this tree, all this treasure is the treasure tree Adam. So like, I think he was trying to say he's laughing like how he always the Adam tree was meant to be scarce to the humans in the outside of Elbath, and that's why he had to pay a lot of money. I think he used all that money from the that the Straw Hats had got from uh I know they got it. They got it from Skypea, and I think it was supposed to be worth the amount of gold they brought was supposed to be like wasn't it like 200 million berries, and he used all that to or maybe most of it, at least to buy the wood that he needed to build the Sunny. Uh, okay, hold on. Well, hold on a second. That wire behind me is bothering me. Okay, I see what's going on here. Yeah. So yeah, Frank's having a good laugh because of how scarce Adam is. The access to Adam is, in the in the humans to humans, and Ripley's like, wow, is it really as expensive out there as you say it is? And she's like, maybe I should start selling some of this too to make some extra money. And uh, and Frankie's like, don't say that. Don't tempt me, Ripley. I'd gladly take some of this, but like Saul gave me this huge lecture about don't you dare try cutting any of this tree, specific the Adam tree's wood. It's sacred. And he did some kind of impression of Saul, I guess. And Ripley's like laughing at them, like, "Oh, you made such a good impression of him too. You nailed the impression of him." Okay, wait. Why are we saying that? If we steal this from the giant, we'd have to carry everything. I don't know what they're saying, but they're just saying that basically she's thinking about selling it out because she's learning how much worth it is. And anyways, so Frankie, by the way, Ripley has been carrying him around, and because Frankie's a lot bigger. Actually, it's Ripley not as tall because she's holding. I thought Frankie wasn't that big, but she's holding Frankie in her hand, but he's still like, but his torso is like this much bigger. And like when I saw some of the others holding him, it looked like Roto and like when Roto was holding Nami and Zoro, they fit perfectly in his hand with room for like two more people. I didn't think Frankie was that much bigger, but she's like holding him, able to hold him, but he's still like really huge in her hand. Anyways, so Frankie gets down from there and he sees something and he points out, oh, there's a mural over there carved into the tree. Or is it like scratched? It's somehow, I think it's supposed to be carved. I'm thinking it's carved because she brings up it's been there for a very long time. And it's been engraved into the petrified tree bark. Wait, if this tree's well, yeah, only the inside of a tree's alive and the outside's just bark. So she points out that it's been there so long, this mural, that it's now been considered a historical site or cultural heritage site thing, and And she says that some people, no one knows how long it's, who put it there exactly, but it's estimated between 900 and 800 years old. Uh, and she says if that's correct, then it comes from the Void Century, and that catches Frankie like, wait a minute, the Void Century. Because now he remembers what he's heard from Robin about it. He's like, wait a minute, if that's true, Robin has to see this. I have to show this to her later. I gotta get a little closer here. Hold on. And he's like, he says, even though he scribbles about Elbath or from Elbath, he's like, not everyone in there seems to be giants. They're showing other beings in there. And I think then is that her saying? Oh yeah, I think that must be Ripley saying, yeah, so throughout our history, Elbath history, we waged war against other races. But as far as I know, we never had at any point allied with them. And she says, so this whole thing must be a fiction, a child's dream she uses. Because, so, yeah, it shows later, it looks like there's like, this must be, because there's a few parts of this that are interesting. Wait, first of all, let's go back. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. So we go back to the school briefly first. I think they're trying to show that the kids are there because the God's Knights are probably going to show up there in the next chapter or two. And we see, what's her name again? Angie? I think her name was Angie. The one who's Saul's assistant. She's teaching a class with the kids there. You see some of them together. I think Colin's there too, but he's just jumping out with a sword. But the other kids are sitting down together at tables with books out, maybe like textbooks. And I'm guessing Angie's about to give them a lesson, teaching them something, and going to class in session type thing. And then now we switch to a part that we're going to swap kind of between Frankie and Robin here. Robin's going to shows up here first, back at the library with her and Chopper and Saul, and he presents Robin with this very specific book. It's in the translation. It's called Harley. I wonder if that's going to change to something later. I was thinking about waiting to make this chapter for Sunday, but now I'll still maybe make an additional one with maybe the translation fixes. Plus, I want to look at the Ragnarok myth because we're going to get into that in a moment. But there's definitely something interesting here with this. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. A package arrived. I thought someone else might have. Oh, yes. So he presents his book, which he talks about has different myths, stories in this book and he says many myths are based on what's going on here. So this is what they were talking about a few chapters ago about the different it was Ural who was talking about different stories about the sun god and how. Oh yeah, that was the thing too. I didn't say this. I was kind of thinking of it, but other people point out more concisely that the other stuff I don't know if there's everything's in this book specifically, but Ural was talking about different translations of text that can't be never been fully properly translated, and Tekking and others point out, what if it's the poneglyphs? If it's the poneglyphs language, it's that same exact language that Robin would be easily be able to translate it and figure out exactly what the is in these stories, because they were talking about how because the translations are fragmented based on whoever tried to, they had different versions about what the sun god what it means to be the sun god. I'm guessing this book is some kind of a compiled version of some of the stuff that Ural was speaking about in that other chapter. Right here. Oh yeah, because he called it. Oh, it is right there. Okay, Harley. There it is. Duh. They did specify Harley in this chapter. This is chapter 1136. I'm looking at the ancient religious text known as the Harley. Because it's so ancient, there are many interpretations. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, yeah, this is the Harley. So he presents her to Harley. Okay, the Harley. That's something too. When we mentioned the Harley in this chapter, Robin wasn't there at the time. That was where the others were. I don't think Frankie was there. That's where the other Straw Hats, with the exceptions of Frankie, like Chopper, Robin, and were there, not there. Blah, blah, blah. So this is the Harley. Now we see it, and so I said, He says, because there's many different stories in there with different interpretations. So basically, this book must be like a compiled where different people, language experts, I guess you'd say, from Elbath try to translate some older text, and each of their versions of these stories must be in here. Is like kind of what he's saying. Because he keeps saying their interpretations are all fragmented. Um, Also, that would obviously be when you have this kind of stuff. Usually, like you get like text from on some kind of old ruins. There's often some of the stuff's been eroded away or destroyed and such. So there could be like things like that where translations of different stuff somewhere else that's left over. Maybe there's like ruins of sorts on Elbath, and then their professors or their academia people translated what they could from stuff really far back for us and far back even for them. That because we're getting a lot of that there. That even though the giants, I was talking about like how they're only a few generations ago for them that the void century ended. There's still a lot they don't even know. Wars have a tendency to do that too, and the void century had an enormous war. Um, so he's telling Robin the stuff that we were hearing through Ural 2 chapters ago because of the translations. Warriors in Elbath all believe in some different versions of the sun god, each with a different personality. So this book, yeah, must be a translated version into whatever the common tongue is here in Elbath. And I was thinking for a second it was probably in poneglyphs, but I'm wondering if there's he has a separate book or books. Yeah, because again, this sounds like it's a compilation of stuff from probably different professors. I'm going to say of Elbath that had these different stories they found somewhere, and probably from poneglyphs. Maybe some of the ancient Elbath professors, not ancient, like going back, understood some of the poneglyphs and found some stories and put it together. Or maybe this, yeah, it must be something like that. I was thinking for a second, maybe this is just something that from O'Hara, but the way he talks about this is probably a book that O'Hara's never got in contact with or handled, and from maybe, like I said, maybe these are from Elbath professors of long past. And Robin's like, "Oh, may I read that? It sounds interesting." Because she's probably thinking about now, because this is something she doesn't bring it up, but after she met Vegapunk and he talked about the sun god in the last arc, that was about 50, 60 chapters ago. So right away she's probably wanting to, even though she's not saying that, she's probably immediately thinking, this might lead to something with Luffy in her head. She doesn't show any seriousness here. Her and she's sitting there with Chopper too, and they're both just having a fun time listening to Saul. Because remember that when it comes to Chopper's, he's obviously more into medical stuff, but he loves learning too. He's still a teenager, and he's very similar to Robin in understanding when I learn stuff. And he likes learning a lot. It looks like he's someone who's focusing on his medical profession. He would love learning history and other things. And obviously something that Luffy should learn about is trying to do is study more stuff. Well, and anyways, what's his name? Saul goes on pointing out the story in here. The stories it contains are split into 3 main parts, and he talks about the third world. Wait, how's he saying that? Hold on. I was rereading this because there's some symbolism here that I think that's supposed to be reflective of Elbath's layers. But the translation here is a little weird. This is where I was thinking I should have waited to read this, but I think I understand what's going on here. He's saying that in the two other part, according to what this book says, the first 2 parts of the world of these stories are stuff that happened in the past. We're in the 3rd part, which means we're in the beginning. He doesn't say it this way, but he's saying like we're in the beginning of the 3rd part. So what's in that throughout that part of the story is stuff that supposedly will come to pass, will happen soon. And then he starts going on. Yes, quietly, Nika's legend has been told all over the world, and the only thing they have in common is that when he appears, he's always laughing and doing this, and he goes out and he starts doing the dance like we saw with Bonnie and Kuma. I think I was like, okay, and she just like then says, okay, I'm gonna read it, okay. And this is where we get to the end, near the end here, but this is the most important part. And we switch to Frankie's face. Basically, he's looking at this mural. It doesn't have any words, but we see the words. Oda puts the words on the screen of what Robin is reading. So I'm gonna go over this. Let's see, I gotta zoom in on this. So I'm gonna do the quote of this first. The first world, there was fire upon the earth. Humanity succumbed to desire and touched the forbidden sun. The slaves made a wish, and the god of the sun appeared. But the god of the earth became enraged, and alongside the serpent of hell, enveloped the world in death and darkness. They could never meet again. That was the part for the first world. I should have said. I think I did kind of. The second world, there was breath upon the emptiness. The god of the forest sent forth demons, and the sun merely spread the embers of war. The people of the half-moon dreamed. The people of the moon dreamed. Humanity killed the sun, and then ascended to divinity. The god of the sea became enraged. They could never meet again. Ooh, that was interesting. The third world. There was void upon the chaos. The unbidden shadows. Remember the day of the promise and hear the voice of the fragmented moon. Oh, wait a minute. The god of the sun dances and laughs, guiding the world to its end. The sun will return, and a new dawn will come. They will surely meet again. End chapter. And we see a huge mural. Oh, I should stop saying that. Huge mural. It's going from right to left. I'm thinking I think this is kind of layered. First of all, when I'm looking at it from right to left, I'm thinking it's going from past to present. Oh, the future. The last part really would be the future. In the past, we see a skyscraper of city, but we also see a giant serpent overhead flying, and he's blowing flames. He's blowing flames at a bird thing that's in the middle. And right below the bird is Yggdrasil, the tree, the world tree. So, but there's other shit going on here. Next to the left of the skyscraper, maybe I have to put this image in. I'm gonna have to risk it. This will take me too long to draw. Maybe I'll put bits of it. I'll do it at some point. In near the city, there's people holding up what looks like little suns, and there's like people below them and stuff, and then there's Noah. There's the ark is there too, duh. And then you see people, you see Skypeans. I see some with wings there. And they're all getting on the Noah, it looks like. And now we have to go to the left. First of all, too, there's also the moon. There's definitely something here going on with the moon. So we saw some of this stuff with these people here. I think something is happening with that moon and what we saw when Anaru ended up there after losing to Luffy. Now to the left of the tree, we see people on boats with look like warriors. But a few things are more even really interesting here too is we see for sure Emmett, the robot that we saw at Egghead. We see an Aurust person. We also see mermaids. And then we see the sun god. And once again, he's holding a sword and a shield like Ural's depiction was in the chapter 1136, excuse me. But also above them, we got people riding on whales. Maybe that's reference to Laboon and his thing. But on the far left there's this big ominous creature that's even bigger than Oars, and it's all dark. He's got huge horns, he's got wings, and he's holding the sun in his hand. And he's like reaching out. It's almost like, and you can tell clearly though that the Emmet, the sun god, the Oars. Remember, everyone here. It's really what's shown here is they're all uniting against this demon king type thing, and that this is really what we want. We're all probably thinking the same thing. This is the war that's going to happen here. That we keep thinking, oh, it's just going to be about the One Piece, but this is showing that there's something important here with how the alliance is going to probably end up turning against the world government and an Im Sama in particular. Holy shit, there's a lot here. The more I talk about it, the more I keep thinking of stuff. So, actually, going through these words a minute, I see two things here. When they talked about the god of the sea, that's probably like what they talk about how the god of the sea, let's just go back first. When they talk about fire upon the earth, I wonder. There's a couple things there. I was reading the myth here about. Oh shoot! Oh wait, it's up there. I can't find it now, but I thought there was something here about this primordial. There was something in there about primordial realm before other beings came to exist in Norse mythology. That's what I was thinking about when I read this part about fire upon the earth. And then they talk about humanity succumbing to desire. So they probably made something. That's probably like something that caused the civilizations prior to the rise of the ancient kingdom and the other that happened. And then they talk about the serpent of hell but there's a god of the earth and then there's a serpent of hell. And they work together to develop the world in death and darkness. Now the second world part, some of this makes more sense based upon some of the stuff we've pieced together from stuff with the Void Century. Except for the part, there's something about the god of the forest sent forth demons. That part, I'm not sure. But when you look at this middle portion, this kind of, they talk about people of the half moon and the moon, how they dreamed. I'm thinking one of those lines, or both, they're referencing something to do with those civilization that was on the moon. But this next part also kind of makes sense too. Humanity killed the sun and then ascended to divinity. That right there sounds like what happened with the end of the Void Century War, the alliance against the ancient kingdom. They killed the sun, just referencing the sun, which probably both means the Joy Boy and his kingdom. And they ascended to divinity. They took over the world. They went up to the heavens. Their symbolic heavens up there on the red line. Also, that would be the point they probably would start killing off the Lunarians, kings, people. And then they talk about the god of the sea became enraged. So that there sounds like it's referencing at some point there the devil fruits came to fruition, pun not intended. They were created. And they keep saying this, then they can never meet again. Okay, this other part, in the third part, I talk about the voice of a fragmented moon. I have a feeling that has to do with the stuff that Eneru's doing on the moon. So he's coming back in the story for sure now. He is going to wait. Oda, I'm sure, but he's pulling Eneru right up to the end to come and somehow. Whether or not he's going to really be a good or bad force, there's something going on here. And then there's like obvious here, the god of the dead sun dances and laughs, guiding the world to its end. The sun will return, and a new dawn will come. So I think that's kind of supposed to be a positive thing, because at the top of this one, it's like there's a void upon the chaos. Remember the day of the promise. Okay. So first of all, I was trying to figure out, when you look back at this part about the serpent of hell, I'm wondering if that has to do something with Sama. And that's where his power comes from. Like there's some other being, because we got the god of the sea, we got the god of the forest, and we got the god of the earth, and then of course Luffy's again. I wonder if the serpent of hell has something to do with Sama, and how he's like rearing his head, and he maybe influenced the alliance to destroy the ancient kingdom, and just maybe not so much that the ancient kingdom was bad, good or bad, just that by destroying it and forming this alliance, the alliance under his power, the serpent of hell could rule the human realm. That's a common one here. In a lot of myths, you get this stuff where it's not really in the myths. You're more done. Maybe it is in some of the myths. Well, it kind of is with Greek mythology, for example. Like Zeus overthrows Kronos, and then he is ruling the earth and all that stuff, and he has the other gods working around him. I'm thinking of something like that where, in that case too, in like stories like the Percy Jackson books, Kronos is meant to be really evil, but at the same time we see that Zeus and Poseidon and others make mistakes. I think it's more ambiguous when you read some of the myths. Maybe not fully, but I could see that where like let's use Emu as a stand-in for like Zeus. He overthrows the previous regime of sorts, and the Titans, and then now he's taking over, but now he's abusing his power. Even someone abusing his power, and the thing here though is I find it in this mural it talks about like how the alliance is going to come together to stop him. So the thing is, most of the countries, the people in the world government, they're not trying to overthrow the government. The revolutionaries are. So, but how would they align these other people to work together? What I'm trying to say is that at some point, Eamstar was gonna have to like show his hand just enough where the world is gonna realize there's this tyrannical leader who has to be stopped, and some of them will start working together. Like we see the oars and the giants and the mermaid are gonna come and help, and something with Noah, some disaster still gonna probably happen because Noah is gonna have to be used. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff here, and holy crap. So that's all I can think of on that. There's so much. I'm gonna pour over this book later I got on some different myth stuff and try to piece it together with the what we know in One Piece. I know, like I said, other people have already done that. Hacking's got one on that. I think I'm gonna skip that though. I'm gonna watch this chapter review after I'm done here. But I tried to watch too much stuff that influenced my opinions. That's why I recorded this before I watched his review, so I don't. Cause I know he'll bring up a lot of stuff because he can remember all this stuff really sharp. I need to go pull up. First thing I'm gonna do is pull up Eneru's story after he was defeated by Luffy. The what do you call those? The cover story. His cover story. So the thing that confuses me the most, of course, is like what happened here with the first world. What made that happen? Is that like just the beginning of the world kind of thing? But there's something that humanity should come to desire, touch the forbidden sun. That sounds like something happened where humanity created the sun god perhaps thousands of years ago to be their savior against more primordial forces, and that caused a problem. But maybe like there was peace for a while, but then whatever happened, whatever arose out of the first world to the second world was what caused the sun god was whatever the previous sun gods or something like that was doing, caused the other forces to say, no, you're going too far the other way. And it's going like a back and forth. It's like a tug of war going on here. Yeah, really interesting shit. Yeah, I hope. By the way, I want to point to this mural doesn't have any of these words. This is Frankie at the end here. He's standing right in the middle, right under the tree park, staring at it. And this is just Robin reading this aloud, and the words are printed so we can read them. But Robin's reading the story to Chopper and Saul. Well, Saul must have read this already, but she's reading it aloud. And that's right. I want to know. I'm wondering too, if after she reads this, will she piece together some of this stuff relating to the poneglyphs she has read in the past, like the one on Skypiea, the one at Fishman Island, and whatever. What else was written in the one in Alabasta? Wasn't that just a history of stuff for Alabasta? Yeah, I feel like I can remember off the top of my head the Skypiea one and the Fishman Island one were very important ones. Again, the Skypiea one I remember also kind of talked about Poseidon, the power of Poseidon being born by the mermaid princess. Now, I don't know what else, there may have been other stuff there, but yeah, now we gotta know. Yeah, it's funny too that Ripley doesn't believe this thing, but she's like a biology teacher. She's probably not much into history, I'm guessing. And yeah, now we gotta see what happens with the Gods Knights. They're gonna come, and something's going on there. But I'm gonna leave this here for today and get it ready to go out. I gotta decide what to do for a cover. Anyways, thanks for watching.